Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now, wait till you get older. But the media men beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. My world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Go for the moon. Go for the moon.
Please take your seat. The program will begin in 5 minutes.
Go for the moon.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars. Somebody once asked, could I spare some change for gas? I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yeah, what a concept. I what's right.
Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I seek to cure what's deep inside. Frightened of
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin in a few moments.
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. We're gonna take some time to do the things we never had. Hurry, boy, she's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. 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 We're gonna take some time to do the things we never I got my first real six string, bought it at the 5 and dime. Played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of '69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard. Jimmy quit, Jody got married. Should've known we'd never get far. Oh, when I look back now, the summer seemed to last forever. And if I had the choice, yeah, those wanna be there. Those were the best days of my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin in a few moments.
Ain't no use in complaining when you got a job to do. Spend my evenings down at the drive-in, and that's when I met you, yeah. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever. Oh, when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best
Thank you for joining us for today's event. Please welcome to the stage Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Greater Houston Partnership, Katie Pryor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. That was really good, like walk-up music. You know, that had a good beat to it. Thank you for joining us at the 2025 State of Texas Medical Center. We're really happy to have all of you in here. And being in this space, I can actually see everybody versus, the blinding lights of the ballroom. So we like this space, and I think we're going to have a great time today. It's really exciting to see the group that comes together in this room. It's not just our medical, healthcare, life sciences community. It's also our universities, our education partners, our business community. We have people from all across Houston that come together to really talk about healthcare and innovation. So when we think about the Texas Medical Center, that really is what we think about: innovation, groundbreaking studies, research results, and it's really the people both behind the work and also the lives that are saved because of the work. So it really was through innovation and foresight that the Texas Medical Center was created all those years ago by the MD Anderson Foundation. And now the Texas Medical Center and our broader community really help to make sure that Houston remains on the map globally for healthcare innovation and life sciences. So in the greater Houston area, this room probably knows this well, there are more than 10 million patients treated each year across more than 60 institutions. So that is the group that's coming together really to make all of this possible here in Houston. The collaboration between the business community and the Texas Medical Center is really powerful. It's an example of what makes this region really unique and fuels and continues to create our position globally. So this evening, you are going to hear about how the Texas Medical Center continues to have growth and opportunity expansion across here, continues to be a center for excellence and a destination for world-class care. You're going to hear about the different projects and partnerships that make all of this possible. So before we get started, we are going to thank some of our sponsors, actually all of our sponsors, who have really made this an incredible event. So our platinum sponsors, we have Beacon Capital Partners, they're over here, and Houston City College, as well as Sugarland Office of Economic Development and Tourism. So thank you to all of our platinum sponsors. We also have gold sponsors, so Community Health Network, Elkis Manfredi Architects, Texas Medical Center, and Legacy Community Health Services. We have several other sponsors that you'll see on the screen behind me. So our silver sponsors, bronze, as well as we have our program sponsor. All of you will have a program in front of you on the table, and our parking sponsor who made today's parking experience very easy for all of us. So why don't we give a round of applause for all of today's event sponsors. You'll also see a couple of other groups of sponsors that will flash up on the screen. These are our signature sponsors and our platinum signature sponsors that provide annual support for all of our major events, our programs, the things that we do throughout the year at the partnership. So thank you to this group behind me. I also want to recognize members of our board of directors. They love it when I make them stand up. So if you will stand up so that we can recognize all of you and the support that you give to the partnership every year. Okay, and I hope that you will help me in welcoming Partnership President and CEO Steve Kane to the stage to give a few more remarks.
All right, thank you, Katie, and good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be with you here today as we celebrate the strength of the Texas Medical Center and the people and institutions that make it a cornerstone of Houston's health and life science sector. First, I want to thank Bill McKeon and the entire TMC team for hosting us in this spectacular place. Helix Park perfectly embodies Houston's strength in collaboration and discovery. The Texas Medical Center is the top medical complex in the world, and it's the cornerstone of our efforts to grow and attract more for-profit life sciences companies here. We have the best medical center. We train some of the world's greatest doctors and health professionals. We do groundbreaking research, and we are now climbing the ranks in an area where we have lagged a bit, which is attracting for-profit life sciences firms. As you see on the slide here, we've now jumped 3 spots to enter into the top 10 US metros for life sciences research and development talent growth, according to CBRE. Venture capital investment in Houston's life sciences sector has grown to nearly $2 billion, almost doubling from 2023 to 2024. In 24, the National Institutes of Health allocated more than $900 million to Houston organizations. Texas has built a strong foundation for innovation with the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas. And this number is just now out of date. We're now at $4 billion in grants in Texas since 2008, fueling groundbreaking discoveries and company formation across the state. And now, through Proposition 14 that passed overwhelmingly in a statewide vote earlier this month, the state is expanding on that model by creating the Dementia Prevention and Research Institute of Texas, providing $3 billion to advance research and treatment for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, and other brain-related conditions. Together, these efforts demonstrate the strength of Houston's innovation ecosystem and our state's commitment to advancing discovery, treatment, and commercialization. Another example of these efforts is where we are right now, Helix Park. In just a few short years, Bill and his team have grown this place into a vibrant community of researchers, entrepreneurs, and global partners, and it is a showcase of Houston's ability to collaborate across institutions and industry. The 37-acre campus connects academia, research, and industry in a way that accelerates breakthroughs and attracts leading scientists and investors from around the world. Through the work of so many in this room, Houston is a magnet for top talent, new companies, and investment because companies want to be here, people want to live and work here. As you probably saw, we're seeing that confidence play out in major ways, including the Eli Lilly and Company decision to locate its $6.5 billion manufacturing facility in Houston. This 236-acre investment, the first of its kind in Texas, underscores Houston's growing role as a global center for life science research, development, and now advanced manufacturing. And here at the Texas Medical Center, excellence is visible everywhere, from collaborative lab space at Helix Park to the TMC Venture Fund's growing portfolio of startups and the work being done by the 60 institutions in this city. Houston's progress in health and life sciences isn't just measured in investment, acreage, or square footage. It's measured in outcomes and the breakthroughs that extend lives, improve care, and create opportunity. I bet everybody in this room knows somebody whose life was saved here. The scale, the investment, and the innovation are impressive, but it all comes back to the people. The lives improved, the families supported, and the futures made possible here. Here to share more about the incredible work happening across the Texas Medical Center is someone who has helped drive this progress for a long time. Bill McKeon joined the Texas Medical Center in 2013 and became president and CEO in 2017. Under his leadership, the Texas Medical Center has transformed into a global innovation ecosystem that connects research, industry, and patient care like never before. I've gotten to know Bill in my 2 years at the partnership. He is a visionary. You have to be to build something like this. He is a brand builder for our community. He is a collaborator who has brought cohesion and focus to this magnificent institution. He's exactly who we need to keep making miracles happen here. And I know he's going to keep building and innovating. He's also a trusted colleague and a friend. Please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of the Texas Medical Center, Bill McKeon.
Thank you, Steve. And Katie, thank you very much. Okay, we're in for a show tonight. I'm getting feedback from this. I might have to go one or the other. So this is going to be, I think, a really exciting evening because you're going to not have to listen to me. You're going to actually listen to some of the top innovators across the Texas Medical Center. But it's near Thanksgiving, I got to give thanks. The things that you see that this board has really supported throughout, these transformations, all of this was our vision. It wasn't my vision, it was our vision. And you're going to hear some interesting facts, but there's some people, I don't think Greg is with us, but I know Alexander Pruner is with us, our vice chair, soon to be chair. These are the people here. We've got, I know Downey's here. Can I ask all of our board members to stand and be recognized, because there's some serious things to be recognized about. There we go. Yes. So I'm going to tell you something about their accomplishment. This is the review time of the year, so everyone gets reviewed. So we're doing a review of our board. So let me share some facts with you about our board. Next slide, if you can. Doesn't seem to be moving. Okay. Paul Klotman might know this, but this is where the Texas Medical Center started in 1945. And there's a lot of mystery about how it happened. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of misinformation out there. The Texas Medical Center was given a grant by the Monroe Dunway Foundation. A lot of people think that the MD Anderson Foundation, that he was a physician. He wasn't. But he left a fortune, and through that foundation, they gifted $400 million for us to purchase land from the city of Houston to create the cornerstone of the Texas Medical Center. That 114 acres is now 1,400 acres here. And through the years, a lot of people don't realize, I love this picture. Just take a look at this. It's a great view of just a piece of our campus. We now call everything north of Holcomb the North District. You're now sitting in the new city center of the Texas Medical Center, and we're actually crossing over Old Spanish Trail to actually connect the south part of the campus. So let me tell you one thing about the Texas Medical Center, and this is part of the review of our board, so I want you to help me. 80 years, they bought land, we bought land at market price. We gave it away for $1 a year for 99 years, renewable once, so 200 years essentially. In all that time, we've given away $15.2 billion worth of land. When anyone asks about why is the Texas Medical Center the largest in the world, you don't see this in Boston, Shanghai, San Francisco. And the reason is because of this very unique corporation that went well above, decades in advance, to buy land before our member institutions needed it. We knew they'd be great, and they have, and they've continued to flourish. So we're at a cocktail party right now. So I thought for our board members, we can give them something you can throw out at a cocktail party. So that $15.2 billion is more money than Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk combined have given away of all other billions. We crush them. So anytime you're at a bar party, all right? Crush them. Okay, a person that I admire so much is Warren Buffett. As a matter of fact, my brother's company was purchased by Warren, and he has a really distinct view of what you do, how do you hire the best people in the world? And this is his view. First, they have to be enthusiastic, they have to be intelligent, but more importantly, they have to have integrity. Number one. And he said, you can get 1 and 2, without 3, it's a disaster. And I'm going to tell you, look at these people. I get a lot of, I get to sit up here and meet a lot of people and others, but this is the engine of the Texas Medical Center. These are some of the most talented people I've ever worked with in my life, and I've worked at DuPont, I've worked at Medtronic, I've worked at some really great institutions, but this is the team that makes it go. So please, please take a moment and give them a round of applause because they really are the machine. So I embarrass my wife every year. Usually I use a picture of just her alone, so I thought it'd be a little bit more sensitive for her to have us together. But we're gonna see a lot of amazing things here tonight. And I'm blessed to know a lot of the people in this room. And you know me, so imagine, she's been married to me. Next year will be our 40th anniversary, so can you please give a huge round of applause to my wife. So mad at me. So one of the things you're going to see tonight that we all share, it's not my vision, it's our vision, is we've always been known to have the largest clinical base in the world. People are surprised to find more clinical trials happen on this campus than anywhere in the world. It's interesting, I get calls almost every week by someone desperate for a wife, a daughter, a son, trying to get to the Texas Medical Center. And we've always been known for those incredible things in many of our institutions, whether they're coming to Texas Children's or Houston Methodist or MD Anderson or Baylor College of Medicine. We're just blessed with so many assets here. And that's quite special. But we share another vision. You're going to see it tonight. A vision that while we had huge clinical and we had great research, we weren't actually known for commercialization. We weren't known for taking those great ideas that our scientists have and our physicians had about, hey, we could do this better, or I saw something really unique about this interaction of a drug, and I think that we could do better. And you're gonna hear tonight some of the most outstanding, talented people in the medical center. They're my friends, they're my colleagues, but you're gonna see really kind of a rapid show of all of the innovation that really strives for this goal. And so the first one, a dear friend of mine, Vineet Gupta, arrived on the scene. And he, together with Dr. Reiser, is here. Oh, by the way, let me do a little roll call here of the CEOs that are here. We have Dr. Paul Klotman, Baylor College of Medicine, here. We have our newest member of the team. You're going to hear from both Paul and Dr. Melina Kibbe. Where is Melina here? Hey, she made it. Thank you. She was she drove fast to make it here. Appreciate that. Dr. Esmail Porsa heads up Harris Health. Dr. Joseph Rogers, is Joe here? Joe, right back here, stand up. Dr. Joe, Texas Heart Institute at Baylor. Dr. Debbie Sukin, I know I talked to Debbie here. Come on, stand up, you gotta stand up. Yes, thank you. And Dr. Rokin Reiser, where is he? I just saw him here before, UTMB. All right, so these people are the medical center. So let me tell you just a little bit about Vineet. He's Vice President of Innovation, Technology, Development, Transfer. You know what? That's a killer for a business card. So he's got a lot of responsibilities, but he's really on the scene doing a lot of innovation at UTMB, but don't think about that as Galveston, because Dr. Reiser and Vineet have really become center stage here in the Texas Medical Center. So without further ado, Dr. Vineet Gupta.
Bill, thank you. That was an awesome introduction. I hope you don't do this the rest of them. You know, I'm special. Good evening, everyone. Super thrilled to be here. I know I have a clock, so I'm going to go fast. But first, I also have to say, you know, Dr. Reiser, our leader, is here, and a lot of our leadership team is here. So if you like what I show, please engage with us. We're looking to create startups. We're looking to commercialize stuff. So, you know, we need that. So today I'm going to present to you 3 really cool new technologies that are coming out of UTMB. 3 areas: brain health, kidney health, and AI, health system AI. First, in brain health, we have a lot of, over the years, we've developed a lot of new research that is now maturing into technologies that can be developed. One of them is presented here. This is from Dr. Kayad's lab. It's a new antibody that can target beta-tau oligomers in the brain and really reduce brain pathology. More importantly, what he developed was a way to deliver this antibody and other new therapies to the brain using a nasal spray. So that technology was recently featured in a Science Translational Medicine paper, has a lot of years of research behind it, and is right now ready to be translated into a clinical trial, and we're very excited about it. With that, we also have a brain health institute, a brand new brain health institute that has been formed with a generous gift and support from Moody Foundation called Moody Brain Health Institute that Dr. Kayad is a member of, and Giulio Tagliatella, a well-known Alzheimer's researcher, runs it. And so we have a lot of brain health research going on campus. The second area of research that I think we are really leading in Texas is kidney health. Dr. Reiser is one of the world's leading nephrologists, innovators, entrepreneurs, and translator of technologies. And among his many research impacts, one of them is to identify the role of innate immune system in driving kidney disease. So one of the technologies that is coming out is really targeting immune cells for kidney health. There are also a number of researchers that we have recently recruited from places like Harvard that have come to UTMB and are working in this adjacent area of kidney health to develop new therapies as well as new diagnostic tests. And we partnered with a company in Germany called Nipoca that is for the first time bringing forward a personalized test that can be used for treating patients with kidney disease. It does not exist right now, unlike cancer and other areas. So we're super excited about kidney area as well. And third, in 2025, you cannot talk about any research if you don't talk about AI. So this is the era of AI, and we believe we have a special role to play in the health AI space. As we all know, there are a lot of people with a lot of apps. You know, we all have friends who have developed an app that can diagnose people with whatever, you know, look at the radiology report and tell them whatever it is. But they have not really trialed it in a larger setting, larger health setting, so that that tool can really become useful in improving patient care and reducing healthcare costs. So at UTMB, we have taken on the charge, and we are partnering with some of the leading health AI providers to scale the technology in a way that is fully developed and can be really utilized across the US for the greater benefit. So with that, I'm gonna close by saying we have a lot of cool stuff going on at UTMB. In addition to the new research and the 3 growth areas that I showed, we also are catalyzing meetings where VCs, innovators, government, public and private foundations can come together and really discuss how we can very rapidly translate some of the findings that we have going on. And lastly, I'm gonna say again, going back to brain health, we are very, very keen and very passionate about driving new solutions for brain health, and UTMB is going to, first, UTMB believes that Houston can be the brain capital for the brain economy. Sorry, words are jumbled up. So UTMB can play a leading role in making Houston the capital of the new brain economy. And I think we have a lot of cool stuff coming from that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. I think we have, all right. I want to just take a moment to talk about Dr. Roberta Schwartz. She is a major influence about Houston Methodist. Houston Methodist actually has 10 hospitals. It's amazing when I think about my early years here and how the growth of Houston Methodist. But one of the things that's really been wonderful about Roberta is not only she knows innovation, she knows clinical, played a really incredible role during COVID. She was a machine of organization, but she understands innovation. And she sits on our advisory board, as Dr. Gupta does. And so when we look at venture fund investments, it's really wonderful not to have a person that understands is the technology unique, game-changing, but can it actually move through into the clinical practice and be the first thing that someone would utilize? Not just a me too, but something that they'd actually utilize. And she's been really wonderful at bringing a lot of the technologies that we see at the Venture Fund right into the institution. So she's going to talk about a number of technologies. Huge round of applause for Dr. Roberta Schwartz.
It's an honor to be here with family and friends and people who are doing incredible work, and I get to talk a little bit about the work that we're doing to translate a lot of this into the clinical environment. I, at Houston Methodist, get to work with a team we call DIOP, which is the Digital Innovation Obsessed people that work with the Center for Innovation, a name that has stuck since we put it on the first journal entry, which was really fun. But I'm going to talk about three different technologies today. So we have built a camera highway. We believe that this is what is going to take us into the future. The camera highway will allow for centralization of many different functions. We actually heard today about our rapid response team that now uses this to immediately drop in the room and help people almost from the get-go really get going. But one of the major technologies that we now use for efficiency and value, as well as improving safety, is the technology in the operating room, where we have ambient cameras sitting in various areas of the operating room that allow us to look in on what's happening with people in the operating room. We also get almost immediate analytics as to whether or not we have variation in our cleaning time, or our opening time, or our closing time, or what's happening on the back table with our instruments and what is occurring. Through these technologies, we've actually had incredible outcomes. We've been able to see a 15% increase in our volume in the operating room without adding any additional staff and without adding any additional time. And for those of you who know that the most expensive minutes that we use are in the operating room, this is just an incredible feat. And it's all because of the partners that we get an opportunity to work with. We also, I think this is Bill's favorite, have a bio button that does all the vital signs on every single patient in the organization. This allows us to no longer interrupt patients every hour and to check on how they're doing through their vital signs. The most important thing that we've been able to do through this is actually manage respiratory rate. There's lots of different functions, but as we measure respiratory rate, we can earlier look at deterioration. Earlier algorithms using AI actually look at sepsis every 4 hours. Now we can populate those algorithms every hour. And when you do that, you can more quickly actually look at deterioration. We're having an increase in the amount of times our rapid response teams are going to the bedside, all because we're checking on people even before they know there's a problem. In addition to these, we actually get to work with one of the incredible companies that the TMC has invested in called MIC Sickbay. We actually now have probably the largest physiologic data set in the world that has been going on as we've been measuring patients moment to moment through 1 million different machines for now since pre-COVID. And we have that data set all stored and is being used to build new algorithms. When we look at this data set and what we can do with it, the possibilities are endless. So with that, I leave you and turn you over to the next, but we are honored to continue to work with companies to innovate, not only that, but as Bill said, bring those to the bedside and really make a difference for our patients.
Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about how our interactions with hospitals used to be, and you see this technology now, it's actually, if anyone stayed in a hospital recently, you find typically over the years, alarms are going off everywhere. And it's these false positives that have actually created a bad situation. So to have the actual real information on it and to know that we can actually manage our patients better, safer, it's really great. Now you're going to hear from Emily Barnhill. She's Vice President of Strategic Industry Ventures for the great MD Anderson. Please welcome her to the stage.
Thank you, Bill, and thanks for having us here today. I'm going to talk to you very quickly about some things that we have coming out from MD Anderson, taking a slightly different approach than you heard previously, but really wanting to highlight a couple of technologies that have resulted from either collaboration opportunities or development opportunities within our organization. This is one that you may have seen in the news. It's been highlighted very recently throughout the year. This is the result of a partnership of something that we developed internally, collaboratively with Shang Pharma. Kim Partner is an affiliate with them that we entered into many years ago, and we are now seeing the fruits of that labor. And we saw that this asset, this ATR inhibitor, that was informed, the clinical development strategy informed by MD Anderson as well, go into the clinic, and we ultimately licensed that in 2019 to Ardios, and we have seen breakthrough designation this year. So really excited to see what's resulted from our therapeutics discovery team, and that's under the leadership of Dr. Tim Heffernan, and really thrilled to see what could result for this population and what more we can hope for patients here in the very near future. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. Also wanted to really highlight for you guys, it's not just about the intellectual property that results, but really our know-how and our expertise as well, and really trying to figure out how we collaborate with institutions to better maximize the value of the assets that they're sitting on. And that's the story we have here with Obsidian. We entered into this collaboration back in 2020. You can see over here to the right, Dr. Rhoda Amaria. She was a huge champion of the opportunity that we had in front of us. And this was really bringing together our expertise in manufacturing tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes alongside Obsidian's technology. We were able to provide the manufacturing support, regulatory support, and ultimately took that into clinical trials at MD Anderson. We were able to execute an exclusive license agreement with Obsidian around that our manufacturing technology, and ultimately negotiated a clinical trial agreement and additional manufacturing support in 2022. This went on to receive fast track designation as well. So a very exciting opportunity to show how, what we can bring here in the Texas Medical Center combined with our industry collaborators can really yield promising opportunities for our patients. And over to the right, you'll see here, around the same time that we were sort of negotiating everything with Obsidian, MD Anderson with Resilience launched the joint venture that is the Cell Therapy Manufacturing Center. So the same technology and manufacturing process that we were really working to bring to the Obsidian collaboration, we ultimately spun out into that joint venture. They assumed the manufacturing support for Obsidian, and now CTMC, under the direction of Jason Bach, which many of you I'm sure know, they occupied the facility off of Holcomb and the previous Bellicum facility, and this is an incredible resource for the Texas Medical Center, for cell therapy companies in general. We've really appreciated the support of the TMC and the institutions here broadly, and look forward to seeing what more comes in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. Next up is Dr. Bruce Butler. I'm going to trick him and ask him, he's also an inventor. He heads up, he's a vice president of research and technology, but I had a discussion recently with a surgeon and said the technology he invented is actually used in operating rooms every day. So I'm throwing you off key, I didn't prepare him for this. Tell a little bit about that invention and then you can go through your slide deck. Bruce,
I could
thank
say
you.
which one. Thanks for the introduction. Two inventions. One invention is a little device. When you intubate a patient for surgery, you need to make sure that the endotracheal tube goes into the right orifice. It either goes into your stomach or your lungs. we have a little disposable device that on one breath tells you that you're in the right orifice, and so you can ventilate the patient properly. It's on most ambulances around the country. It's been used around the world. It was on the space station. That was almost 40 years ago. It's still in the market today. The second was a drug patented from the University of Texas, licensed to a startup. Startup went public. Drug got approved by the FDA. About 9 months later, the drug was overpriced and the company went bankrupt. It took 14 years to go from the patent to the FDA approval, but good stories. I'm going to go off key a little bit here and just say a little bit something else differently. About the Texas Medical Center, what it is today, there's a lot of people with gray hair like me. I was born here in Methodist some 70 odd years ago. So the Texas Medical Center is quite intimate to me. My immediate family, we have interacted both professionally and as patients in over 14 institutions in the Texas Medical Center. So it's a very endearing place, and it's staggering how big it's grown. Let me talk a little bit about UT Health. And we were asked to pick a couple of winners. We have a lot of losers, but it's always nice to pick a few winners. Can I have the next slide? Oh, I'll do that. And I'm pushing wrong. So while I'm trying to figure out how to do this, I'm wearing my glasses because I had surgery on my eye 10 days ago, and you couldn't do that 20 years ago and still be able to see the way I can, although I'm a little bit of struggle. I want to talk about one of our biggest successes, and it's fairly recent in the chronology of things. It's the Texas Therapeutics Institute. It was an institute that we created, initially funded by the governor's office and the ETF funding some 15, 16 years ago. We recruited a world-renowned scientist from industry, Dr. Zichang An, and established the Texas Therapeutic Institute. From that point forward, the Institute has brought in $50 million in research funding, 200 publications, and very, very esteemed journals coming out of that group. It's about 29 people. Most of them are housed here on the second floor. We've moved them here when the building opened. Just for the Texas Therapeutics Institute, we filed 300 patents, 57 are issued, 35 license option agreements, 11 startup companies, 12 clinical trials. Right now, today, we have, you can see on the bottom chart here, phase 1, phase 2, and then in the bottom, we have more trials coming up on some of these drugs. This is unheard of precedence, and it goes to show you how if you bring in industry and academics together and merge them together, what you can accomplish. It was a gamble on our part to bring somebody who came out of industry. I got to interview him for his job, and he was very nervous about coming here. He had a large team at Merck, but he had nothing to do with academics like he did here, and it's been a wildly successful story. And he's always told me that it takes 10 drugs in clinical trials to get one approved by the FDA and make it to the market. We're at 7 right now, and hopefully that our statistics will be a little bit better than that, but we'll see. Like I say, we have a number of them in phase 2. So let me kind of spotlight on one of the technologies coming out of that. And if I talk about the Texas Medical Center, we hear about all the collaboration. I'm going to start over here and move forward. Our Texas Therapeutic Institute was born to collaborate. That was part of its primary purpose. And on the right, you can see the various other academic institutions around the country that we do collaborate with. And as we move to the left, our TMC members, these are all the institutions that we collaborate with. What our institute focuses on is therapeutic antibodies. Those of you who watch regular TV, probably 90% of the drug ads you see are for therapeutic antibodies. These are antibodies that target a certain cell type, a cancer cell type. And it'll focus right on that particular cancer cell type. And it'll attack that cell type. So you don't have to have the broad chemotherapy agents that you would normally have if you can treat them with a therapeutic antibody. We have a number of industry partners. These are both sponsored research, and they're actually working with some of our technologies, testing them themselves as potential licensees. And finally, I want to focus just for a minute on one of our latest companies, which is Crossbridge Bio. Is a product of the Texas Therapeutic Institute. Kyoji Tsukayama was the inventor of that. Crossbridge was born and raised here in the Texas Medical Center. Michael Torres was one of the entrepreneurs in residence here. We founded in 2023. Lead asset is based on what's called a linker technology, where you link one of these therapeutic antibodies with a chemical structure that also combines a payload, which is a chemotherapeutic agent. So the antibody will attract itself to the tumor cell, and then the chemotherapeutic agent will attack the tumor cell. Those are called ADCs, antibody drug conjugates. That's what this particular technology is focused on. They expect to file their IND with the FDA in 2026, this next year. Their seed round was $13 million, and it's kind of an interesting seed round. If you can see all the different venture partners who put the first money in, so many of them from the TMC itself. I think I have permission to make my next statement, and I'm going to kind of close with that. The Texas Therapeutic Institute has 3 core grants from the CPRIT Fund, the Cancer Fund. A core grant is to me, is a small word for collaboration, because the core grant structure is meant that you're supposed to collaborate with other institutions in Texas. And the Texas Therapeutic Institute has 3 core grants. And CPRIT has funded each of those. I'm going to announce a little bit prematurely, it's public information now, but yesterday the Crossbridge Bio just got a $15 million grant investment from CPRIT. So that'll probably take them way past their IND stage. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Bruce. I think one of the things I want to make an important point before bringing Dr. Petrosino to the stage. One of the things that we're doing that's very unique, if you think about the great scientists, Bruce talked about one of many that are here on the campus. What you don't want to lose is most of the scientists here, like Dr. They don't have one great solution for cancer. They've got 7, 8 of them in their lab. And what has plagued really this town for a long time is we didn't really have the people that could actually marry up with a scientist and say, let me take your dream to the next level. Let me take it to seed stage. Let me take it out to raise a Series A. And it's with people, just not a normal person like Michael Torres. He came from a company that actually had taken drug to market all the way through the FDA. And it's this marrying up. So what we do is we insert these executives in residence or entrepreneurs in residence, and they marry up and they find what they think is the best technology at Baylor, UT Health, MD Anderson, Houston Methodist, the list goes on. And it's the perfect marriage because we don't want to lose a scientist that has those 7 or 8 ideas. We want to take those to market sooner, faster, better. Because someone once said, a publication in a great Nature or Cell doesn't cure a patient. It shares with the world your perspective on something that's unique and actually leads to it. But if you can't accelerate that idea all the way through to commercialization, and Crossbridge Bio, March Bio, you're going to hear about these companies that were really about marrying up people that have industry experience with a great scientist and doing this time and time again. I'm old enough to remember that there was not life science in Boston. It was all in New Jersey. And the reason it moved to Boston is because there was a couple of big startups that hit it big, and those people didn't just take their money and go to Hawaii. They sat there and they did the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th. And you're going to see this happen, I promise you. Try not to do too much crystal ball, but I promise you this is happening on this campus every day, and this is a perfect example of a brilliant scientist that has 8 or 10 great ideas, and there's hundreds of them on this campus. And what we've not had are 2 things. The industry expert to match up to actually take them out, and then we don't have the venture fund for that early stage. I'm not talking about late stage venture fund. I'm talking about the early stage, to write those checks early on to get them so they have the data package that's going to allow them to raise their Series A, or a medical device prototype that's ready to go and get a Series A investment. And that's what we're all about. It's one of the, I think, most exciting things that's happening on this campus. So Dr. Joe Petrosino, I don't mean to hold you back, but he's our last speaker from the innovation team at Baylor College of Medicine. He's great. And by the way, every one of these people, including Dr. Petrosino, serve on our advisory boards. When we're making those investments from the TMC Venture Fund, it's with their approval, thumbs up, and they're tough critics. They will not approve anything because of your logo. You don't have, you might come in with one of our member logos, that doesn't make the cut. It's got to be something that they would personally invest in or they'd implement in a clinic. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Joe Petrosino.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you for the organizers for letting us get together and talk with our colleagues, partners, collaborators once again. So the first thing I wanted to announce with the little time I have is that we're actually rebranding. So the Baylor Commercialization Program used to be known as BCM Ventures. I've been here a long time. It was BCM Technologies before that and many other incarnations. We are now BCM Innovation Institute, reflecting what we are doing truly to help bring technologies out of the lab, clinic, and educational mission to patients, students, learners going forward. We're going to retain the BCM Ventures title as part of our portfolio, as you see here, but also we're also including a specific element for our technology development pipelines, our Center Office for Technology Transfer Management, as well as our Center for Entrepreneurial Development, because as you heard, the ecosystem here is growing rapidly, and we need to educate our scientists, our business leaders, to help build new companies and have them come back in and do it over and over again, wash, rinse, repeat. When I took on this role, when Dr. Klopman appointed me in this role, the question was, like, we have $700 million in research going on at Baylor every year. Why don't we have $700 million worth of companies that are coming out of Baylor? And I thought about that for a moment, and it's like, well, A, we're not commercializing hammers. As you all know, it takes a long time to get a new drug from the lab to the clinic and then be developed as full product. But then also, looking at our portfolio, we do have a lot of companies that have been built out of Baylor College of Medicine. Here are some of them here, and they're raising a lot of money. So right now, this is reflective of the various levels of seed and Series A and rounds that, of investment that's been going on with our companies. So you'll see that some are actively successful raising, even in this climate, raising seed rounds, Series A, Series B, and beyond that. And the companies that are in gray are the companies that are about to enter those processes. So there's a pipeline. So we have a very robust pipeline at Baylor College of Medicine that are truly getting our newest technologies into the marketplace. To emphasize and highlight just a couple of them, so we were very sad upon the news of Dr. Bert O'Malley's passing this past week. He's on the Mount Rushmore of faculty and scientists at Baylor College of Medicine, and in his last years at Baylor, he managed to start two companies, one of them being Corigen, which recently raised $93 million as a technology around using SRC3 based targeting to fight cancer and also to fight cardiovascular disease, in the fact that he started a second company called Oxia that just recently raised $30 million. So in his last days, he's truly having an impact, and the company is moving forward, and they're going to enter clinical trials next year. March Biosciences, you heard Bill mention just a few minutes ago. March Biosciences is one of our cancer companies focusing on CAR T cells therapy for T cell cancers and lymphoma. Diakonos glioblastoma, having incredible success in the clinic. Medley Therapeutics from our Texas Heart Institute, looking at using regenerative technology to spawn and spur on our heart's ability to regenerate tissue, which it normally doesn't do, but to be able to grow new tissue to help survive various cardiovascular injury. All in all, these companies have raised over $1 billion of follow-on funding over the last 8 years. So we are building companies that are respectively representative of our $700 million research portfolio. And on top of that, what's coming next? So March Biosciences, our founding scientist was Dr. Max Mamonkin. He moved on to Columbia, but I have a feeling he's going to come back not too distant future. But he managed to start not only March Biosciences, but he's looking at ways to reinvent CAR T-cell therapy in a way that becomes much more of a drug. So we don't have to worry as much about the precision medicine type responses. We love precision medicine, but we like it to be less finicky, like be more responsive in every single patient that receives it. And so he has a number of technologies that he's bringing to the table in our next company. We're calling it Project April. We're not that creative on the name side of things. We'll get there. But the idea is to make CAR T-cell therapy much more reproducible in terms of a drug from patient to patient. And then this is the perfect venue to highlight the fact that the TMC has been a tremendous partner in helping us build a number of these companies and continues to do so, and that will be even more so involved going forward. So here's just a few of the companies that we've had success in building with the help of the TMC. So March, you've heard about Aspire Medical. Dr. Todd Rosengard has developed new technologies around detecting pulmonary, what's the word, Todd? Pulmonary aspiration, thank you, sorry. Pulmonary aspiration, beautiful, elegant, simple, with investment and leadership from the TMC's EIRs, we've been able to help grow that company. Nemea Therapeutics, new company that's coming out for innovative therapy around triple-negative breast cancer. Previse AI, company that has an ability to look at spinal images and predict spinal fractures in cancer-treated patients. Nontivia Therapeutics is a new treatment for endometriosis. And the list is continuing to grow as we even sit here tonight. And with that, I think that's it for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. All right, we're going to be moving forward. First, how about a round of applause for all of the presenters here? Really great. I think we're going to see this as a tradition going forward in the state of the TMC. So the Venture Fund, really quickly, the thing that we write checks about, and this is a blessing from our board, that said, wow, okay, let's try to fill that void, because there's this gap, they call it the valley of death, early on, and most companies don't have the data necessary at the time. So you've got to be willing to write a check. It's quite risky. I think my board said we'd call it philanthropic investment, meaning go ahead, lose your shirt on 25 million, and we actually did really well, so they refueled it to 75 million. We've had 30 companies in our portfolio. This is a valley of death. TMC Venture Fund's playing a role before that, so that we can actually get those companies over the hurdle and give them the ability to actually raise their Series A. This is our portfolio of companies just to start about. You've heard about some of them today. We're really excited about it, and there's so much more to come. So, two things that we have in this medical center that we've invested in. We have 2 suites. One of them is the therapeutic lab suites, which is the J Labs area, which we're actually taking over and expanding, and the medical device labs area. So anything that you can imagine that you need to do in the therapeutic space or the med device space can happen on our campus, never going outside, and you can shorten the time, not just by weeks or months, by years. It's really an exciting area. So we'll tell more about that in the future. These are the places that you see, very lab looking, of course. And this is our med device space. Tremendous amount of machinery, GMP quality. So I'm going to talk just briefly about our BioBridge. You might have heard it, I call it the International Gateway. Because by accident, long ago, a friend of mine from Australia, Consulate General here, said, we could really utilize the Texas Medical Center because we're the size of the United States geographically, but we're only the population of Texas. So when my scientists come out of Brisbane or Adelaide or Perth, they don't have a market on the country that's large enough to sustain a medical device or a drug. They have to go, they have to leave. and why not use this place as a place to curate? And lo and behold, within 2 weeks, we had 8 companies from Australia here. We get to pick them. They don't just, we don't just put them on a plane and fly them here. And they had a lot of success. So lo and behold, the Brits called and said, why Australia? We're the UK. You used to live here. And we did it with the UK. And then later came Denmark. We had the Princess of Denmark at the time. She's now Queen of Denmark, Mary, come over. And we formulated our partnership with Denmark, which has been amazing. And then Ireland, of course, my homeland. But actually, it's really interesting. Ireland is probably one of the most successful incubators of all technology, punching so far above their weight. And you ask the question, why? They give scientists, researchers, physicians money to just get over one hurdle, just a little bit of money. They get over the next hurdle, they give them more money. So they're willing to make that bet on any technology that they have in Ireland. And I have to tell you, it is one of the most productive ecosystems in all of Europe is in Ireland. So they're really quite successful, and others are starting to figure that out. And then obviously we added more. So I don't want to click through all of these, but we had Japan 2 years ago, and last month, the Republic of Korea. And what I love about it is all of these relationships have been at the top level. We don't pick a country, city. We don't pick Adelaide versus Brisbane. We pick the entire country, so we only do a BioBridge if it's signed off by the top people in the government, Prime Minister, Minister of Health. If they can't do that, we don't play. And what's really powerful about that is they're responsible for collecting the companies. We fly in, we select them, we bring them here, and we curate their experience across these 120,000 brilliant scientists, physicians, nurses throughout this entire area. So it's been great. And if there's are there any Aggies? Howdy? Any Aggies? All right. Sorry about this. So that, we have them. They originally, the first picture was the money picture, and then we finally got them. So it's about Texas, not about picking a team. So it's been very successful. So just watch this for a second. This is going to be a little bit of real estate. We are real estate developers with purpose, but just watch what is happening. This is the Walter Tower, and now you see the Centennial Tower. This is what it's going to look like very shortly. Amazing. I think it's another 14 stories higher than the Walter Tower. Now, let's go on. We have MD Anderson, their clinical services building. By the way, we all apologize for the traffic, but you know what? These are beautiful things, and you just have to be patient. But look what this is building. The Clinical Services Tower is coming along right now. And then population health. Do you remember we had the University of Houston Pharmacy building? It's now shifting over to population health. That baby is looking really good. They're moving really fast on that. And then the Cullen Tower. Dr. Klauman, I got to tell you, it's beautiful. It is really quite beautiful. You see it is a stone throw in the corner of the campus, Helix Park. We're starting to consider all of this Helix Park, by the way. And to further that even more, but that's the end picture of the Cullen Tower. You could see it now if you step out, just look in that direction. It's gorgeous. It's going to have the medical school, simulation labs. It's going to be really the educational cornerstone of Baylor College of Medicine. And then we have Research Building Scrub 5. Where are my friends at MD Anderson here? I don't know where the name of buildings were when, there's Chris over there. I don't know where the name of buildings are, but we can help you with that. But this is an incredible building. It's 800,000 square feet. It's gorgeous. David Manfredi, that's happening right across Old Spanish Trail from here, as well as UT Health's building is in there. There's Scrub 5. Look at that building, it's just gorgeous. 600,000 square feet, it's an amazing building. It's from the same architect that built this building, and I just think it's amazing. But what's really kind of cool about this whole thing, this is the UT Health building, public health building. Before, that's almost finished, and you're gonna see a bridge in between all of this. If you walk out this door and look to the right, you can actually see the formation of the landing on this side of the campus. and it will handle autonomous vehicles, bikes, people. It will connect this 30-acre campus to 90 acres of the UT campus. It's really exciting, and the buildings are gorgeous, and we're really excited about what's happening here. I don't know if you heard this recently. I was with Reggie just 2 weeks ago on the main campus of Rice. This is the transformation they're making their stadium. The stadium, I think, holds 50,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are there any owls in the house? 50,000. They're moving it to actually 30,000. And they're building 3 levels, box seats, their pavilion. Do you remember the bubble there that you see out on the campus? Looks like hell, doesn't it? That's the new, that's the new training area. And then they're opening up an entire green gateway. If you're a Rice student, you have to go get in a car to really get over to Rice Village. No longer. They're going to have a really beautiful way to connect all of the green space right into Rice Village, and Rice Village is growing leaps and bounds. So really proud of what Rice will become over time. It's just a beautiful campus. Okay, sad, happy part. We'll start with the happy part, okay? So we have 2 new members of, well, one, Dr. Kibbe. I got the blessing to spend time with Dr. Kibbe before, and I'm just gonna read a little bit about her background. She's right over here. So she's the first female and 9th president of the UT Health, okay? Nationally renowned vascular surgeon, scientist, not one or the other, both, you'll see why. Former surgery chair of UNC, former dean and chief of health affairs at UVA Medical School, an expert in both open and in vascular surgery, as you do. No, most people don't. They pick one or the other. She's an accomplished innovator with 10 patents. She's recognized by President Obama for her early scientific contributions. There's more coming. She's a member of the National Academy of Medicine. Overachiever. No, oh, that's my note, I'm sorry. And also editor-in-chief of JAMA Surgery, and has won 24 awards for teaching excellence. I want you to give a warm Houston welcome to Dr. Melina Kibbe.
Thank you for that very embarrassing over-the-top introduction. So it is really a true honor to be one of the newest members of the Texas Medical Campus. As Bill mentioned, I just started, so I've only been here for a little over 2 months now. And I will tell you that one of the things that has impressed me the most since I've been here has been the people. And I've been so impressed with everyone's true dedication and their passion and the commitment to collaboration. And you're seeing this here tonight. And I will also say I'm super happy that you did ask for Dr. Butler to come and talk on our behalf. Where's Dr. Butler? Dr. Butler knows, so when I met him several weeks ago as a surgeon, when I learned that he's the person who invented the Easy Cap, I was like a fangirl. I mean, he knows this. I was like, what? So any surgeon, I mean, where's Todd, right? Any surgeon, any anesthesiologist, any intensivist, any ER doc not only knows what that is, but has likely used it. So, but that's the spirit that we all in this room here have, and it's just incredible. So I would say one thing that Bill asked me to just briefly do is to come and just kind of state my vision for UT Health Houston. So I can tell you this, absolutely not. I am too new for that. And so I am in this stage where I am listening. And I am listening to everyone within UT Health Houston because I want to hear what does everybody believe are our strengths? What are the opportunities going forward? And what are our aspirations? And so on that note, I can tell you this, that we're going to be embarking upon a very comprehensive strategic planning process. And we are going to involve thousands of our 15,000 members in this process, as well as all of our key partners here in TMC, abroad, in actually defining what that future vision is going to be. So I'll end with just saying that I am really excited to be here, and I'm super excited to be part of UTL Houston, the University of Texas system, and this TMC campus, which is just, I'm in awe of this place, because this is the largest medical center in the world. And now that I'm here, it is just awe-inspiring. And so I love events like this. So thank you, Bill, and I also want to thank everyone in this room for the incredibly warm welcome that you all have been providing me, and I look forward to working together with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. I told her the same thing. I'm from Connecticut, and when I came here, Melina, we became close friends from the start, and I said, I'm going to tell you something about Houston. It's going to be a little scary because, you know, she did a lot of her work out of Chicago. I grew up on the East Coast. When someone walks up to you and says something to you on the street, you're immediately like, what the hell? You know, it is a little threat mechanism. And I said, here, you're going to get overwhelmed with warmth and love and encouragement. And when they say, I want to come and have dinner with you, they mean they want to come dinner with you. And if you don't answer their first one, they're going to call you again and again. And it's just, I think it's one of the warmest. It's maybe the 4th largest city, soon to pass Chicago as the 3rd largest city in the country. But it is a very small town in such a wonderful way, and it's pretty special. So welcome. Welcome as the newbie, new kid on the block. So now I turn to something that, and I hope not to get emotional about it, but a very dear friend of mine, and I think one of the pillars within the Texas Medical Center has been Dr. Paul Klopman. And before I get into the facts and all the great things that he's done during his time, I want to just talk for a moment about during COVID. Because we got together during COVID when the virus was still in Italy. And we came together and we formed, which is very rare, I have to say this about the Texas Medical Center, none of the institutions share data. They are very proud institutions. They very much keep to themselves in many ways. I still think there's opportunity out there for us as we grow. But one of the things that was amazing about Dr. Klopman was he was the true scientist that was kind of our North Star throughout the entire COVID epidemic. I don't know if anyone knows this, but we met every morning, 7 days a week, 7 a.m., Monday through Sunday, for a year and 3 months. We never broke from that, and everyone showed up. And Paul was really at the heart of that because remember, there were viruses, remember Alpha and Delta, and those were different viruses and you had to treat them differently. We were learning about the atrocities that were happening in Europe before it even came here. We were changing our strategy. Remember, there were times where we had like revolutionary thoughts, like remember we had to say, none of our faculty can travel. You cannot have patients visit their loved ones in the hospital. If you tried to make those decisions independently, you'd immediately get terrorized by someone else saying, well, Methodist is open or MD Anderson is open, whatever it was, we did those things together. I think it was probably the best representation of the entire medical city coming together in one way, but Paul was sitting at the heart of that, and he was the scientist that said, let me tell you about this virus. And I don't know if you've ever seen his videos. After that, he became a video star, and I don't know how many times he's published that. It's actually probably the popularity of his dog rather than Paul, but it's really something to be seen. So Paul, 5th president of Baylor College of Medicine. And when you think about the names before him, Bertner, Fagan, I mean, this is an all-star group. And when Paul came in here, I can tell you firsthand, Baylor was not in great shape. He opened this hospital, this beautiful hospital. I'm a patient there. It's like a Four Seasons now. It had been closed for years. Paul was first one to open that. He established a joint venture hospital with Catholic Healthcare Initiatives, now Common Spirit, which is really referred to now as Baylor St. Luke's. He opened a medical school in Temple, Texas. I don't know if you know this, but Baylor runs one of the most incredible curriculums around K through 12 STEM schools around Texas. And those schools are rated in the top 10% of schools in the country. It's really quite amazing. Under Paul, he created 50 companies out of Baylor based on their intellectual property. So I'm saying we're sitting on a war chest of innovation. We just got to keep moving this thing forward. He increased Baylor's endowment 250%. So if I'm responding to your review, since we're doing reviews of everyone this year, you've got an exceptional review. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Paul Klopman.
So Bill asked me to reflect upon my time here, and I won't spend a lot of time doing it. I've been here for 15, this is my 16th year, and I guess I'm now the longest standing CEO in the medical center. So when I first got here, the main thing everybody complained about parking. That was the role of the Texas Medical Center, complaining about parking. 16 years later, everyone still complains about parking. That will never go away, but the difference is what you can see all around you. The first real change that the TMC, I think, made was, again, really important in changing the covenants of the land around the cookie factory, the Nabisco factory. We had just wanted to commercialize our genomics and genetics diagnostic labs, and it was a big deal, about a $350 million business deal. And the company we worked with was in Japan. And I was along with Bill, very interested in keeping companies here. And yet they wanted to move it to Tokyo and at least San Francisco. And by changing the covenants of the land, which was a huge thing, and I give the board a lot of credit, because this was a radical change to actually allow commercial activities. That was actually the first step to having this happen. And then changing the covenants on the land for the surface parking lot is now going to be Helix Park. So you just look around and see all of the opportunities that all the institutions have presented. It would not have happened without Bill. And I'm going to comment about COVID just briefly, because we wouldn't have been working together had Bill not convened us all. And in the past, getting all the institutions to work together was very difficult. We're not easy people to work with, just to be honest. But what Bill did was hire McKinsey and at no cost to us, and they aggregated data and started reporting the data to us. So it was worthwhile for everyone to show up. And what I learned at those 7 o'clock meetings was we had a great crowd of executive leaders. The hospital leaders were outstanding. And everyone worked together to come up with common policies. So not one hospital would do anything that another hospital wouldn't do. And it came with policy on visiting, masking, all kinds of things, sharing materials, sharing tests. We started doing tests for everybody in the medical center. So everyone came together, and it was really incredibly gifted group of hospital executives along with the medical school. So I give a lot of credit. None of that would have happened without Bill, and for that he got himself an honorary degree from Baylor College of Medicine, which I hope he's proud of. And then the last thing I just wanted to say that I guess when you're asked to reflect on your time, it means you're really time to go. You're sufficiently old that you're being asked to reflect upon things. But the reality is that we have a whole new set of executives. There's a generational change in the medical center. And I do see a lot more cooperation and willingness to work. The leaders at all the major hospitals, at Methodist, at Texas Children's, at Baylor St. Luke's, Herman, UTMB, I'm going to throw in, where's Jochen, my former fellow. It really is a great opportunity for everyone. Dr. Kibbe, welcome. It's really a great opportunity for everyone to continue to work together. Houston did better than any major city in the pandemic, significantly better, and it was because we all worked together and were evidence-based. That all started with the work that Bill did in getting us all together. So it's been a wonderful ride. I'm not dead. I'm not brain dead. I still have a life. I've told my wife I may go visit her. But anyway, it's been great. So thank you all very much.
Okay, I promise you, we're almost done. Thank you so much, Paul. I'm going to show you 2 announcements, and then the bar's open again, all right? So never get in between someone and the bar. So this is, you all know this building. Some people call it the water wall. It's the center of, it's like city center for the medical center. That puppy has been there since 2002. It was a parking garage wrapped with cement, and we decided to pour a wall down the side of it. For the last 20 years, it's been leaking and pouring, and if you ever tried to walk, you missed this, Dr. Kibbe. If you ever tried to walk through those doors, you'd get completely sprayed. You might lose your footing. We actually have a sinkhole in it right now, but we've decided that we are now renovating it. We have fully financed it, and so I'm going to show you a little picture of what it's going to turn out to be. Starts January 1, and we're completely turning it into a park, and you see that movement? That is not water. It's called kinetic walls. Anyone heard about kinetic walls? Raise your hand. Liars if you did. No, you don't know what they are. They're actually these beautiful fins that when the air hits it, it moves just like a lake on a quiet day. Kinetic wall. I first came upon this in Chicago, and I was out of a building, and I just said, they're running water down this 40-story building. I couldn't believe it, so I had to get in a taxi, freezing cold day in Chicago, and that's what these kinetic walls are. So during the day, they just run with the wind, and if you've ever been to this part of the medical center, now with Centennial Tower coming up, it's a vortex. It is whipping in there, if you've ever sat up on our balconies. So this will be there, and it will light up at night, so we're celebrating Cancer Day or Nursing Day or all of that. This thing will be moving constantly. It'll be beautiful, and it doesn't leak. So that's our first project, and more importantly, a park. Have you ever seen people at shift time on that? There's seating for 3, there's 95 people. I look out my window, and it's like watching people just walking, waiting to get to the bus. No cover of wind, no cover of rain. And so in the new, it will have completely trellises all throughout the area. And more importantly, you can eat inside and come outside. That's not, so this is sort of a little bird's eye view of the parks that are being there. But as we go inside, we're changing all of the food coming in. And by the way, I heard a nasty rumor that TMC is shutting down food for it. That's not true. We're continuous food throughout. We're actually have new brands coming in, continuing some of the others. We're in negotiations. We can't announce all of them, but it will be continuous, and we're bringing in really a number of new food products in there. So we don't want you just eating inside. We want you eating outside, meeting friends for coffee. It's really going to be transforming this whole space. That starts January 1. And our final announcement, this gathering right here is kind of maxing out what you could do in the entire medical center if you wanted to get together. It's amazing, largest medical city in the world, 60+ institutions. We don't have a conference center. We don't have a place to get, I mean, this is, I call it Thunderdome, because we're probably breaking fire code if we get a little bigger here, but this is something that we've needed forever. So I announced to do This has been approved. It's completely financed. TMC Helix Park Hotel, Conference Center, residential tower to start build in this new year. It's financed. It's finally here. We've been working on this for a very long time. I want to thank my board. How about a round of applause for my board? So just little details of it. I'm speaking about our partners and other. The hotel will have 250 rooms. We'll have a conference center of 18,000 square feet, which mean 1,000 of us could get together in a room, 1,000, maybe 1,000,000. And the residential tower will have 300 units. So it's something that I think will transform, and it will be 200 feet from us right here and take over the whole north end of Helix Park. So now you'll be able to bring venture capital here. You'll be able to have hotel here on campus designed for it. So this is our initial design. This is right over the last fountain and you see it wrapped up right now, but this will be developed, started breaking ground next year, delivered in 2 years. Our partners are monster mega players in the market. I'll announce them at a later event, but we're really excited about that. So there's a lot to be thankful for here. I'm thankful for our board. I'm thankful for the leadership across this incredible medical city, the innovators, the 120,000 people that come here, privileged to treat over 10 million patients on this campus. It's really a special time. I want you all to be. I hope you're as thankful as we are for this. It's such a privilege to sit up here and really brag on, really, the great institutions at the Texas Medical Center. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And I need Nat King Cole to take us in to the bar. So thank you very much for coming for the State of TMC.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose.